Let's take a look at the possibility of an early system forming. There is a slight chance, it's a low chance, but there is a chance of a subtropical storm forming from this area right here. Now, while it's a low chance, regardless, it is going to influence the weather in the Caribbean as we go over the next several days, really into next week. I want to show you that, how it's all tied together. You see the tail end of this front. Now in the short term, this does mean a better chance of rain and storms for parts of Puerto Rico, for example. Still the Dominican Republic, I'll zoom down. U.S. and British Virgin Islands, I'll zoom down as we go island by island with those rain totals in just a second. And I want to dissect the winds out of this. Now the water temperature is where this blob of rain is running above average, and it is feeding it. So even this time of the year, water temperatures that are a little bit warmer than average could really feed into things. Water temperature is something I'll be watching over the next few weeks as we lead into hurricane season. They are warming considerably in the Caribbean, as is typical this time of year, but again, starting already above average and warming up. That's going to add some fuel to potential tropical storms and hurricanes. But note, with that said, that is just one ingredient. There are so many other ingredients that could help cause hurricanes or help kind of rip them apart. So there could be some good news to pass along, but those water temperatures warming 28, 29 degrees Celsius, 83 to about 85 degrees Fahrenheit in the Caribbean right now. They are really starting to make the climb. Now, let me show you this spin that may develop into a subtropical storm right near Bermuda. Subtropical storms and tropical storms, they get names. They're very close as far as how big they are, but they have different characteristics. This would be a broader wind maker. Subtropical systems typically not as strong. Now here's that front back to the west. This front in the United States will sit there for days. That allows this thing just to sit there for days as well. There's nothing to really move it. This would be the mover, and it is stuck over here. So with that, watching this spin, giving us some of those scattered areas of rain, storms, potential of flooding, British and U.S. Virgin Islands back through Puerto Rico the next few days. And then on Sunday, as we get into Easter Sunday, this system still stuck over here. Lots of flooding in parts of the U.S. Because that is there, this just kind of drifts our way. And with that said, even if it doesn't develop, just having a broad spin over here, it does influence our weather. Look at that moisture near the ABC Islands Sunday into Monday. It starts to pull in some extra rain over toward the Eastern Caribbean. That's what we'll be watching as we get into next week. See a little spin here on Monday. We'll see if it develops or doesn't develop. It'll hang over here near Bermuda, just to the southeast of Bermuda, but drawing in some of that moisture. And still, there's the front of the United States. You see how such a slow mover over toward the southeast U.S. So even as we get into Tuesday of next week, there's that weak spin sitting right over here. There's the front over there, but we're going to see that better chance of rain. Watch what happens as we get into the middle of next week. By Wednesday, Thursday, look at that moisture, the potential of this. Now, this is a computer model. This is about a week out, so I expect it to change, and it's my job to know more things than just a computer model. We'll see how this evolves, but there is that much better chance of rain in the Eastern Caribbean because of that little spin as we get deeper into next week. So it's going to be a busier pattern ahead, and you could see this spin that I'm tracking here. Watch this as we go out in time, kilometers an hour, miles per hour to keep everyone covered. Watch right here. There's a little spin here. Hang with me. This is Sunday, so as we get into Easter, and we're going to see this spin, this little circulation dive down. It'll have a small window to become a named system. So as we go from Sunday into Monday, you can see that little spin right there, just that little curl right there, just kind of dropping in. But you notice the winds are not very strong in this. Winds may gust to about 30, or rather about 30 to about 50 miles per hour, up to about 80 kilometers an hour over the open waters. And then as this little spin starts to dive a little closer to the Caribbean, it really weakens and falls apart. But then we'll start to get that return flow back behind it and some of that moisture, some of that rain that will be building as we get into next week. Now in the short term, with this spin building to the northeast of the Caribbean, we're going to watch out for some heavier areas of rain. Now look at this white shading near the British and U.S. Virgin Islands. That would be 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches of rain. That could lead to flooding. This here is a computer model, so this blob of rain could be here, could be over here. We'll wait and see, but this just shows the potential of some downpours from Puerto Rico over toward Tortola, back through St. Croix as we go over the next few days, St. Thomas, St. John, watching the possibility of some isolated areas of flooding, giving you the heads up in Puerto Rico and across the Virgin Islands. Now, if this area, again, a very low chance, but if it does get a name, Andrea is the first name on the list this year, then Barry, Chantal, Karen, Lorenzo, Tanya, Van Wendy, as we get down the list of names. Hurricane season officially starts June 1st, but sometimes you get activity even before the season. Now, here's that spin. Here's the closer look. So today, scattered areas of rain. Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, back through the Dominican Republic. Even Anguilla, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, we're going to see our rain chance bumping up just a bit. There are some of those scattered storms. You have the spins over there, but still some scattered storms. Still watching out for some of the rain, Guyana and Suriname. And then you could see the return flow with that spin up there. Look at that moisture building near Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, close to the ABC Islands, Costa Rica. Some of this moisture will start to eventually lift in as we work our way into next week. The north side of it, here's Bermuda, Bahamas right here, and we have been so dry in the southeast U.S. too, watching that fire threat. So this is the area tied in with an old front, Atlantic region of Canada. By tomorrow, we'll watch out for a little system that'll bring in some rain showers right here in the United States, though, much like we had earlier in April. Again, just an area of rain that hangs out, and that means that flood potential for a couple of days, especially through the weekend, will persist with a severe weather threat right in here as we work our way into our Sunday forecast. So watching that as we go ahead. Now watch how the seas build. Where we're watching the spin, you'll see those elevated seas. They'll be choppy throughout. Here's meters, here's feet on the right-hand side of your screen. This is today as we work our way into the weekend, getting into a Saturday, and you'll start to see how things gradually build. And you see here in the Atlantic waters, watch this spot right in here. You're going to see those seas build, but choppy elsewhere. So we'll be watching out for those elevated seas, choppy to rough. And there are those elevated seas right in here. This is by the time we get into Sunday, and you see them right here. There's that spot right there, even around 3 meters, maybe a little bit more in some spots, 11, 12 feet in some spots, just to the north of the, really northeast of the Bahamas, north of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, as that area we're watching kind of tries to dive down to the south. So Bahamas were mainly dry, Cuba were mainly dry, Jamaica, our rain chances down, we'll have some scattered storms. Same thing as we work our way back through Haiti. Cayman Islands, I mentioned, mainly dry, but the Dominican Republic back through Puerto Rico, that's where we have a better chance of rain. I highlighted this earlier, but it's going to be pretty close to Anguilla, watching Saba, Statia, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin over toward St. Bart's. We'll watch out for some areas of rain as we get into the weekend with that spin that is sitting just to the north. Dominica, South, Barbados, St. Lucia, rain chance on the low side. St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Grenada, a lot of sun. Trinidad, most of the rain is down to the south. Still watching out for the flooding, still active Guyana and Suriname. Some of the rain totals could approach 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches the next few days. And then we'll keep an eye on Costa Rica, Panama, back through Colombia, even over toward the ABC Islands, closer to the water as we get kind of down the road as we work our way into next week, and that rain chance builds. Much of Mexico on the dry side, but there's that moisture pulling in to parts of Texas, getting some heavy areas of rain. I showed you how that front is just going to be hanging out for some days. So Jamaica, 30% chance of a shower or storm today and a 40% chance tomorrow in through Sunday. Rain chance staying on the low side. We are mainly dry with a lot of sunshine across the Cayman Islands. Rain chance at 20 to maybe 30% over the next 3 days. Trinidad and Tobago, 20 to 30% chance in Barbados, and an isolated shower today, tomorrow into Sunday as we work our way into St. Lucia. Rain chance 20 to 30% in Grenada, and staying at that 20 to 30% chance as well right through the weekend. St. Vincent the Grenadines. I'll show you in a minute how the rain chance is going to build for some of us. 30% chance in Martinique, 20 to 30% chance holding in Dominica, and about a 30% chance of a shower in Guadeloupe. Now, as we start to get to the north, look how that rain chance starts to bump up. 30% chance today, Antigua, Barbuda. 40% chance tomorrow. Sunday, we're looking at a 50% chance of scattered showers. A little bit higher on Sunday as well. St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat, not a washout, but a few more showers around Anguilla and St. Bart's, building to about a 50% chance. Now we get back through St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, a 40% chance of scattered showers. And then as we get back through Puerto Rico, scattered showers, not all of us get them, but watching out for the downpours, possibility of river flooding, right? Up to a 60% chance by tomorrow. And same thing in the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. We're up to about a 60% chance of some areas areas of rain as we work our way into our Saturday. Bahamas were mainly dry. Back through the Turks and Caicos, mainly dry. Small chance of a shower brushing us by. 40% chance of those scattered showers. Watching that still in the Dominican Republic. Even a few thunderstorms. Rain chance about 30% today as we work our way back through Haiti. Rain chance on the low side still in Belize. Our rain chance only about 20%. 20 to 30% chance in Aruba. 20 to 30% chance Curacao and Bonaire. But again, that rain chance may be building Sunday into Monday. I'll keep an eye on that if some of that moisture could kick in. Still that 60% chance through the weekend in Guyana. 60 to 70% chance this weekend in Suriname. Rain chance staying on the very low side as we work our way back through Cuba, and the heat will be building. Costa Rica and Panama, that rain chance with that moisture lifting in will start to build by Sunday. 30 to 40% chance the next few days in Nicaragua. The next couple of days in Honduras, rain chance staying on the low side, and we're mainly dry today in Guatemala and El Salvador. By Sunday, about a 40% chance of a shower. Mexico City, we are on the dry side, still holding on to that 20% chance of just a pop-up shower over toward the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Colombia, northern Colombia, that rain chance will be building, and a 40% chance northern Venezuela this weekend. Now Bermuda, we're still in between systems with that area that spin just to the southeast over the next few days. So lots to track, of course, ahead. Tracking that spin in the Atlantic, a small chance it develops into a subtropical system, but those new areas of rain that will be feeding in, and that means an active period ahead. 44 days until hurricane season. I hope you're doing well. Have a good day ahead.